Hi guys, it's Lynn with Curiosity Crochet. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is staying healthy. I figured why not make another video. I have this hat. I worked this up with just two colors. Now the top here, you can either keep it the same color as the tiny little band or do it the opposite color like I did. It's totally up to you. It goes well either way. I just finished it off with the red, and when I got done with it, I was wishing I would have done it in the gray. So like I said, it's up to you. As always, you can use any yarn, any weight. On this one, I used, let me show you what I used. I used Lion Brand Heartland for this one. It's a 4-weight and it comes with 251. Now this, I had already used some of this and I used this in the gray and I still have some left, so it doesn't use up a whole lot of yarn. It's a nice one. It recommends a 6mm and I used a 6mm. So whatever yarn you use, just use the recommended hook size and you should be fine. This is a very simple pattern. I just made it look real pretty by switching every other row with the colors. So now you don't have to use two colors. You can use one color. You can use up to how many ever colors you want to. The row is exactly the same. Like it's a 1-row repeat. It just makes it look different because you turn it every other row. And then with the 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, however you want to do it, it gives it a little bit of dimension. So, like I said, it's all creativity at this point. It's all up to you. So I said, any yarn, any weight, use the recommended hook size. It's real simple. The band, it's not even, I just did something so that there was a bottom to it. It's just 2 rows of double crochet. So it's real simple. And then 1 row repeat. It's real easy. You guys probably already know the stitch, so I'm just going to go over this with you. And then I just put a little fur pom-pom. I had some of these small ones, and this hat that I made is on the smaller side. It's more of a young adult size. So this was a perfect size. Now you don't even have to put a pom-pom on. That's all optional too. And I always put mine on with a little button so that you can remove it to wash the hat or whatnot. So you'll need your hook, you'll need your scissors, you'll need your tapestry needle, and I suggest having a tape measure, because since I say that you can use any yarn or whatever, yours might work up faster or slower depending on what yarn you're using. But I want to make sure you get everything in the right dimensions. So go ahead and get all your stuff together, and as always, I'm going to do it on a small scale just to show you. And plus this one's real easy, so I'm going to show you and then I'm going to let you go, and then I'll show you how I closed it up, and then we'll cinch it tight and it'll be done. So I'll meet you back. Okay, once you get all your stuff put together, we are going to do a foundation row of chains, and you want it to be in, you know what, let me check my notes. Sorry about that. I wanted to make sure I had the right multiple. You want it to be a multiple of 3. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 until you get it to what you want the diameter to be. So I always say typically 18 to 20 inches is average. 20 to 22 is for larger. 16, 17 is for like a large, you know, an older child or a young or preteen or teen. So you just want to chain to that diameter. So whatever you want it to be, whoever you're making it for, or if you're just making it to make a hat, because I do that, like, and I have donation bags that I donate to the Cancer Society, which I'm calling tomorrow for them to pick up because it's getting a little ridiculous in my craft room. But so so you want to chain multiples of 3 to the diameter of whatever you're making. I'm going to work up something real quick here and I'll meet you back. Okay, I just did something small so I can show you guys this. Now, I did 21 chains. And what we're going to do, and this yarn that I'm using just to show you is a little thicker than what I used on the actual hat. So this, I think this would be really pretty actually, a little bit thicker of a yarn. It might work it up real nice. But so what we're going to do is we're going to follow this chain down. I like to use my fingers to make sure it doesn't twist. And don't drop your yarn like I just did. And we're going to slip stitch into that very first chain to make a ring. And then we are going to chain 2, which doesn't count as anything. Now we're going to do 2 rows of double crochet. So to start with, and I like working in the back bumps when I make a hat because it just gives it a nice clean edge. And when you do that, your very first one is sometimes hard to find because it's basically your knot back here. It's connected to the slip knot that you started with. So that very first bump is this here. It's this connected to your slip knot. So you'll go in there. Now you don't have to do it this way. You can do it through the regular chains if you want to. It really doesn't matter. I just like having a nice clean edge on the bottom of my hat. I don't know what I just did there. But you're going to pull through and do your double crochet. And you're just going to put 1 double crochet in each stitch, or in each chain, I'm sorry, all the way around. Yeah, this is really thick yarn. I mean, it is a 5-weight, but it's pretty chunky. I just grabbed something to use to show you guys, and I'm like, wow. But I think this would be really pretty with this pattern. Maybe not this color, but this yarn. This yarn here is actually a cotton blend. I don't know if you guys watched my unboxing, but this is one of the ones I got on clearance from Hirschner's. Doesn't have a whole lot of yardage in it, but it's soft. It's a soft acrylic cotton blend, I'll tell you that. So yeah, we're just going to do this all the way around, and we're going to do this twice, but I just want to show you. I'm just going to go around with you guys. I may just stay on video here and talk your ears off. I'm just kidding. But I just want to show you when we come to the end of this row. Some people like to see where they're at so that they know they're doing it right. And I want to make sure I make everybody happy. So just make your way around. The first row is always the hardest, I think, because it's kind of fiddly and you're trying to start something and there's not much to grab onto. But if you can get through the first row of any project, you can get through any project. And this one, you don't get much easier than this one, and I like easy. Sometimes you need those projects that are like a no-brainer. Okay, when you come back around, if you turn it, like if you're doing it my way, if you turn it, you can see there's one more stitch here. So you don't want to miss that last one. So make sure you always get in that last stitch. And the best way to know is count your stitches. So then you know. And see, when you're doing this, it always wants to turn in, and I always turn it back out so that I'm facing the right way here. And we're going to ignore that my string is hanging here because, well, and I'm going to put it to the inside or it's going to drive me crazy. Okay, so when you do come back around, then you're going to just slip stitch to that first double crochet. You're going to chain 2, and you're going to do the same thing one more time. You're just going to go in and put 1 double crochet in each stitch around. I'm not going to do a second row because this is awfully big yarn, and I just don't want to make this too wide. But you're going to do 1 more row of double crochet, and then you can pause me because I'm just going to jump into the pattern here. Now, if you're using more than 1 color, you're going to change color here, and this is where you're going to start the every other row, and we're going to chain 1. You're always going to chain 1 because your first stitch is a single crochet. So right here in our first stitch where we slip stitched, we're going to go in there and we're going to do a single crochet, and then back in the same stitch we're going to put 2 double crochets. So you're going to put a single, you're going to put 2 doubles, all in the same stitch. Well, if it would stop splitting on me and I wasn't in such a weird position. I don't know what is happening today. We are going to skip 2. We're going to 1, 2, and we are going to do the same thing in the next. We're going to put a single and 2 doubles all in that same stitch. I told you guys this is like the easiest, but it turns out so pretty with multiple colors. We're going to skip 2, 1, 2, single, and 2 doubles, all right there in that same stitch. So that's what you're going to repeat around. You're going to skip 2, you're going to put 1 single and 2 doubles right there in that same stitch. And I'm getting tangled up here. We're going to skip 2, single, and 2 doubles. I'm coming around pretty quick here, so I'm just going to skip 2, single, and 2 doubles. I'm just going to finish this up with you guys, and then I'm going to show you what comes next, because this is super easy. Well, I'm having issues. I am in a really weird position because I'm doing it down in my basement again, in my kids, where my kids are, and I'm using my son's desk again, and for some reason, I don't know if things got moved or whatnot, but I could not get situated, and I'm sitting in the weirdest position. But when you come back around, you should have 2 left to skip. And we are going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Okay? Now, if you're changing colors, before you slip stitch, you're going to go in like you're gonna slip stitch, and then bring in that other color and slip stitch with that other color. And then that's what you'll do every other row. You'll just keep switching colors. So what you're going to do now is you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. So now you're facing the inside of it. What we're going to do is we're going to work right back into that single crochet that we slip stitched into. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a single and we're going to do 2 doubles. So every single time you get to the new row, you're going to start right where you slip stitched, because that's the way it works out the best. I tried it a couple different ways and it stretches too much if you jump this way. So every row you're going to chain 1 and you're going to start right there where you slip stitched. And then what you're going to do is you're going to skip those 2 doubles and you're going to work into the singles, and you're going to do the same thing. A single and 2 doubles. And then you go to the next single and do a single and 2 doubles. And that is literally all you're going to repeat. for the whole pattern. You're just going to make sure you turn it every row. And if you're changing colors, just change your color every other row. So, and just make sure you skip those 2 doubles and you're working in the singles. That is it. It just turns out real pretty with the multiple colors. Gives it a little dimension. That's what I love about making stuff your own. Like, you take a stitch and you turn it into something, and just by adding you know, 2 colors or 3 colors or whatever, it just adds that bit of, wow, I didn't know something so simple could be so great kind of thing. So when you come back around, then here you'll slip stitch into that first single again. And if you're changing colors, this is where you'll grab your color and put it back. You'll bring in the other color again and slip stitch it. Then chain 1 and turn it again. And then, like I said, you're going to start right here where you slip stitched. And you go in and do your single and your 2 doubles. And then you just start over again. And my yarn is coming in because it's getting stuck on the inside. Yarn was coming in like, I want to be in the shop. So, and then you jump to the next single and you do the same thing. And it works up real pretty. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to repeat that over and over again until you get it to the height you want it to be. If you want it to be a normal size beanie, I would say bring it to, this works up kind of small, so I would say bring it to about 6.5, 7 inches, and then we're going to close it. And the closing isn't a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to close it. So you want to bring it, I would say, to at least 7 inches. If you want it to be a little slouchy, I would say 8. And if you want it super slouchy, like 9 or 10. And it'll be real slouchy for you. But so that's, I want you to bring it to whatever height you want it to be. We'll meet back up and we will close it up together. I'll meet you back. Okay, once you get the height done that you want it to be, and like I said at the beginning of the video, depending on what color you want to finish it off in at the top, make sure you end on the opposite color of that. And then just leave it the same color for the remainder of this. So from here on out, it'll be whatever color you want to close it up with. And it's real simple. I did a nice easy close so that we kept it, you know, in unison of easy. So you're going to chain 1, and we're going to pretend like I'm on the opposite side, but I have to turn mine, because you also want to make sure you end it where you're on this side so that it's easier to close it up, because we're not going to turn it anymore. But I'm going to do it this way because that's where I'm at. And we're going to go, after you chain 1, we're going to go into that same stitch we slip stitched, and we're going to do 1 single and 1 double instead of doing 2 doubles. Just starts the decrease here. And go to that next single and do the single and 1 double. And then just do that all the way around. So 1 single and 1 double. 1 single and 1 double. And you'll just do that all the way around. And it starts to bring it in a little bit because you're cutting it down by 1 stitch. And I'm going to turn it back to the right way when I get back around here, which I'm there. So when you get back around, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to slip stitch into that first single. And now you're not changing colors anymore. So then you'll chain 1. And you'll already be facing this way. I just turned so I could be doing the same thing. And what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over and right in that stitch that you're at, not the slip stitch, but the where you slip stitched at, you're going to do a double crochet in every stitch. Well, Yeah, you want to do 1 double crochet in every stitch around, just to get a base here for the closing. I get talking too much sometimes and I lose what I'm saying. Plus I hear talking behind me and I don't know if they're talking to me or not. I'll tell you what though, our basement's usually freezing, and they opened up all the vents down here finally, and now it's actually nice and warm down here. I'm pleasantly surprised. So when you come around here, you'll have your 1 row of double crochet, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of that double crochet. Now literally all you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 or 2. I'm chaining 1. That's what I did for mine, because you don't need really a builder for this. And you're going to double crochet 2 together all the way around. You will probably have to do this twice, so you'll do 2 rounds of 2 together. It's up to you though. Like if you get around after this first round of it, and the hole is small enough for you that you're like, yeah, I could close this up, then don't worry about doing another row. Just finish it off with this 1 row. If you want it to be a smaller hole to cinch up, then go ahead and do 2 rows of it. Now, depending on the amount of stitches that you had, if you come around and you're left with like 1 extra stitch, just put a double crochet in there. Your stitch count does not matter when you're closing it up. But then you'll slip stitch to your first double, and like I said, if you want to do 1 more row, you can do 1 more row. If you want to be done, just, you know, bring out a long piece of yarn. Now, one quick thing that I want to show you, because I've done it in my other videos, if you want to do this, before you do that chain to tie off, pull this up a little bit, and not in the stitch that you slip stitched, but this next stitch over. If you come in from behind and go this way and grab the loop, tighten that up and pull that through to the inside, then you won't, the knot will be on the inside instead of it being on the outside of the hat, which is kind of nifty. I learned that a while back and I just thought that was the coolest little thing. But you'll leave, you know, a long enough strand to cinch up the top. I always turn mine inside out, whether I'm putting a pom-pom on it or not. But that's up to you. You do it how you want to. And we are just going to... This is really thick yarn. I like it though, to be honest with you. And I think this would be really a pretty hat. I might have to look into getting some other colors. But then how I cinch up is I come in and I go in and out of each stitch. So I go in one and I come around and come out the other, the next one. And then don't go back in where you came out, go into the next. And essentially you're going around that post of that stitch. And then you just do that all the way around. And mine's nice and small, so I'm gonna come around real quick. And then you just pull it tight. And then I go across one way. And then across the opposite way. And I don't tend to pull the yarn off my needle, but it happens. Who's with me? But then I go the opposite way of that one more time. I just like to make sure my stuff is nice and secure. But I leave this loop. I don't pull it all the way tight yet. And I put my needle through that loop and then pull it tight. And then I just sew in my end and you are done. If you want to put a pom-pom on it, you can put a pom-pom on it. If you don't want to put a pom-pom, you don't have to. This looks so funny. Every time I make these little things with you guys, it cracks me up. But, so yeah, now you have a hat. Let me bring in the real one. Now, if you did it, I would love to see if you guys did it with, like, more than 2 colors. But I would even love to see if you did it with 2 or 1. Don't forget to check out Curiosity Crochet on Facebook, the group that I have, because I'd love for you guys to share anything you're making with me. And at the beginning of this video, I put a tag at the top of the video for other hats that I have. So if you want to go back and restart the video, you can click on that, or you can just look through my playlists. I have a hat playlist. I also have other videos too that I would love for you guys to try out. I don't have anything else for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this hat. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. That would be amazing. And like I said, don't forget to check out Curiosity Crochet on Facebook so I can see the stuff that you're making. And I hope you guys are staying healthy. I hope you're not going crazy being stuck in the house. I don't know where all of you are from, but here in Illinois, we're on one of those stay home, stay safe things. We can go grocery shopping, but really not much of anything else. So I may be doing a lot of videos in the next few days. So keep your eyes peeled. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.